Happy morning to you, ladies and gentlemen. How are you doing this morning? And welcome to Extra and Speed Live. So that I'm sure we are on the same page. If you can see my screen and you can hear my voice clearly, kindly type in hi in the comment section so that we can get the session started. Okay, thank you, Carrie. All right, Mengli. All right, thank you for that confirmation. Hi, Saturn Ring. Good morning. Okay. Hi, Hashitaka. Glad to see you hello this morning. How are you doing? Okay. So once again, I want to welcome you all to yet another promising session of Extra and Speed Life, hosted by my humble self, Sharif Daramola. As usual, in the next 1 hour, I will be taking you on a trading journey where we shall be evaluating the chart using technical parameters. That is, we want to study price movement to determine what opportunities are lining up for us during the New York session today. And in addition to that, definitely we are going to look at the various pairs we've been monitoring since the beginning of the week. I think we have about 6 pairs we've been monitoring since the beginning of the week. And from an holistic perspective, we've been on a positive side since Monday. And let's see how well these pairs have done so far, at least in the last 24 hours. And if we have any um, advices, I will be sharing with you. So you don't want to miss out on any of these ideas. So I suggest you stay tuned in through to the end of the session so that you don't miss out on any of these ideas. And one thing I want to also state here today is that we have a major event coming up. Today, we have the non-farm payroll coming up in the next couple of hours, and we need to actually look at how this event is going to affect the major pairs, that is the USD pairs. So we're going to be looking out for structures. We're going to be looking out for consolidation phases where we want to look out for signals that will give us a clue into where price might be heading during the during and after the event. So let's dive into the chart and let's see what is happening. And as usual, we're going to be looking at the US oil. And if we look at the structure we have on the US oil since yesterday, we can see our price has come into our take profit target zone area. And you must have taken your profit at this point. And we have a scenario right now that looks like a retracement of that impulse leg. So let's first of all dive into the higher time frame. So we want to see how we got to this point we are in the market, and then we project what our plans is going to be for today. So first of all, let's scale up to the daily time frame. The reason why we want to do this is simply because of those who are not part of this analysis yesterday or Monday, so that they can have a purview of how we speculated the US oil. So on the daily time frame, we have a very strong bullish momentum after we were able to identify that bullish trend line. Since in the last couple of years, we can see how price has consistently respected that bullish trend line. And one thing we identified here on the daily time frame is this key level at the $85 mark, and we can see how that level has been a major determinant of price action in the past. We can see how sellers push price to the downside from this area, after which we saw a breakout of that structure during the early months of this year, and right now price came back into that zone in the last couple of weeks, giving us a clue of a possible bullish momentum. So because of the scenario we saw here during the last couple of weeks on the US oil, we've been thinking of taking advantage of a bullish momentum since the beginning of the week. However, things changed and we started seeing lower lows and lower highs, so we had no choice than to shift our bias to join the decline to the downside. So let me scale down to the 1 hour time frame where we begin to see how price action has been running since the beginning of the week. So we have a scenario here on the 1 hour time frame. Remember, this black line is the bullish trend line we were able to identify on the daily time frame. And after connecting the series of lower highs, that is, we saw a bearish trend line since June, and we saw the outright breakout of that trend line during the mid-month of August. We saw the breakout of that structure, which gave us a signal that we are going bullish on this one. And since the beginning of the week, we took advantage of a 400 pips move to the upside somewhere around here. Hold on a second, let me show you. So we took about 400 pips move from this point here. From somewhere around here, we took this move to the upside here before we started seeing a scenario that pushed price to the downside. So what we waited for during the on Tuesday was to look out for a signal that will give us a clue into where price is heading, and we saw the breakdown of that bullish trend line here, after which price came back into the $92 area, and we saw multiple rejection of this level. Then we joined the decline to the downside from here. So we've been enjoying this move since Tuesday right back into the $85 zone area, which was supposed to be our take profit target zone, and that's dovetailed to about 600 pips, minimum of 600 pips to catch here. So we are very profitable on the US oil so far for this week. So right now, as we head into the New York session today, how do we intend taking advantage of any trading opportunity lining up for us? So right now, what we've noticed here since in the last 24 hours is that price has respected that key level that we identified on the daily time frame around the $85 area one more time again. Is that going to be a bullish momentum? Is that going to give us a signal of a trend continuation to the upside? That is what we want to be looking at this morning. So you might be asking me, what key level is this at $85 level? So let me scale up a little to the daily time frame so that I can show you what I'm talking about, so that you don't get lost in the midst of all this analysis. So we have the key level here. Remember, we had the key level that was respected during the later part of last year. We saw the breakout of that key level in the early months of this year, and we saw price right back into the key level in the last 24 hours. So what we are going to be looking at today is the possibilities that could be happening from this key level area, and that is, we could be seeing price respect that area one more time to push price to the upside. That is one scenario we're going to be looking at. We're going to be looking at that possibility, and also we are going to be looking at the other possibility where we could be having a breakdown of that neckline, of that key level rather, where a retest of structure, either the structure of this or probably the bullish trend line here, will give us a signal to join the decline to the downside. So these are the scenarios we want to be looking at today. So join me as we scale down to the lower time frame to look at what structure we've been witnessing in the last 24 hours. So now scaling back into the 1 hour time frame, what do we have here? Let's zoom into what has been happening in the last 72 hours. So we saw price come back into the key level area here. I just showed you that on the daily time frame. So we had the key level area around the $85 area, and we can see our price has continued to rise from that point. And well, we also need to consider the long-term bearish momentum here. We can see that this move to the downside is a very strong one, and this could likely be a retracement of that impulse leg, after which a trend continuation to the upward could likely evolve. So that is one scenario, but we are not sure if that is going to be what's going to be happening here. But one thing also we need to look at is this bullish trend line. The bullish trend line we identified on the daily time frame, that black one. Let me scale up to the daily time frame so that we can see what I'm talking about here. So we can see this is the bullish trend line here, the black bullish trend line here. So right now price is right around that bullish trend line. So that's the bullish trend line here. So price is right around that bullish trend line. We have seen a couple of rejection of that bullish trend line. And remember, we had the breakdown of that bullish trend line during the course of, I think on Wednesday, is it Wednesday? Yes, on Wednesday we saw the breakdown of that bullish trend line. And from a technical perspective, when we look at it, we we saw a breakdown of structure. We expect price to come back and do a retest of structure, after which we look out for patterns to join a trend continuation to the downside. So that is one scenario we want to be looking at. So right now that we have the two scenarios, now what we want to be seeing is this. We want to see how price is going to relate with this bullish trend line here. That is very, very important. Are we going to be having a breakout of that bullish trend line where price breaks out of that structure and a retest gives us a confirmation that a trend continuation to the upside is beginning to happen? That is one. And the other one is, how we're going to be seeing multiple rejection of this level, probably transposing into a reversal pattern that will be sending price crashing to the downside. So these are the two scenarios we have, and you will agree with me with the information I just shared with you right now, that the area around this bullish trend line is a very, very sensitive area. We need to be patient enough to look at how price is going to relate with this level. So in order to look at what is happening within this area, I will suggest that we scale down to a much lower time frame, where we want to see how the structure around this area is actually evolving. So now, to do that, we scale down to a much lower time frame, like the 15 minutes time frame, where I want to see things more clearly. So right now we had the first touch. Hold on a second. So we had the first touch here, and then price came back down. Now we're having a candle running at this point. This candle is about it's closed already, so it's an engulfing candle. So we don't know how this is going to go. Are we going to be having a second rejection or a lower high that will be sending price breaking out of structure, retest of structure, to confirm a downtrend continuation? So what I want to be doing here is to identify a key level right around this area. We had the first touch here. So is this going to be a lower high? And this is going to be the neckline area. So we want to see if this is going to transpose into a reversal pattern. So I want to be moving my key level to the neckline area here. Let me bring out my line chart so that we can have a specific point of connection. So we have something like this. So we have okay, so we have somewhere around the $88.50 area. Is it? Hold on a second, I'll get that. Okay, yeah, it's $88.50. So let's place it right around that area. Let's label this zone $88.50 for the sake of clarity. And then let's go back to our candle chart. And then if you look at the neckline we just identified around here, you can see how that area also has been a major determinant of price action in the past. If we look left, we can see this level has been a demand niche for participants in this market. We saw the breakdown of that level. We saw multiple rejection of this level during the course of Wednesday stroke Thursday trading session. We saw another rejection here. Then we saw a breakout retest of this level around this point. So in the last 72 hours right now, we have a major key level that we want to be using as our yardstick going into the New York session today. And that is the $88.50 area. So now that we've identified this level on the 15 minutes time frame, the next thing we want to be doing is to use this level to guide our actions going forward. So if we are going to be witnessing a bearish momentum here, that is price want to continue to the downside from this point, we want to see it right below the $88.50 in such a way that a breakdown of that structure happens. And remember, we are not getting too excited at the sight of a signal, as we want to wait for further confirmation to happen in the form of a retest of structure, after which we look out for patterns on lower time frame to join the rally, the decline to the downside. So this is how we want to take advantage of a bearish momentum here on the US oil. So if we're going to see a breakdown of that $88.50 level, That is, we see a breakdown of this level. That is a signal, and we wait for confirmation in the form of a retest. It could be a sharp rejection of that level, it could be a multiple rejection of that area, or it could transpose into a reversal pattern, something like a double top structure, where we want to look to take advantage of that move to the downside. So if that move happens, how do we take our profit on this one? That is, if we have a breakdown retest of that structure, how do we take advantage? How do we take our profit here? Very simple. If we look at the structure we have here in the past, we can see that we have two parameters to use as our yardstick for taking our profit here. The first one is the $85 key level. Remember, we identified this level on the daily time frame, where we said it has been respected in the last since the beginning of the year. We have had a touch of this level a couple of times, so we want to be looking at this area as our TP target area. That is one, and then we want to be looking at this area too as well as our TP target. So between the $85 level and the $83.50 area seems most appropriate for our take profit target area. So we could be placing our take profit target within the zone if a selling opportunity happens. And so why is this bearish trend line a take profit target zone? Well, I will show you that. I think on the 4 hours time frame, we connected the lower high since the month of June, and this is what we have here. Remember, we had this bearish trend line after connecting the series of lower highs since the month of June. Then we saw the breakout of this bearish trend line, giving us a signal of a bullish momentum. And you all understand that if we see a breakout of structure like this, we expect price to come back and do a retest of that structure to incite a trend continuation in the direction of the prior leading price action. So this is what I'm looking forward to. So let's see if we have that signal on the 50 minutes time frame that price breaks down that $88.50 level, then we should be having somewhere around the $85 area and the bearish trend line we identify here as our take profit target zone. Now, how many profit will that give us? How many pips is that going to be? Well, let's see how that is. If price breaks down this area, we're going to be having at least a minimum of about 400 pips here. Let's see. I think if we have a breakdown of that level, so minimum of 400 pips, so a maximum of 450 pips and a minimum of 250, 300 pips thereabout. So let's see how price action plays out. So if price continues to go to the downside, we continue to move with price. Now, the other scenario I want to be looking forward to is the possible, probably this move, this rejection of this $85 level will be the beginning of a bullish momentum. Remember, we identified this level on the daily time frame, and we're thinking price is respecting it one more time to push price to the upside, but we're not going to be jumping into that rally, that potential rally we're identifying here, because we are on a long-term bearish momentum and we really want to see significant signal that will give us that comfort to join a bullish potential. So what I want to be seeing here on the US oil to buy the US oil is I want to see price break right above that bullish trend line we identified on the daily time frame. Remember, we identified, should I show you that one more time again so that we can see what I'm talking about? Yeah. So we have this bullish trend line on the daily time frame here. So I want to see price climb that bullish trend line to the upside in the form, probably it could be an engulfing candle taking us right above that bullish trend line. Hold on a second, let me show you. So if we see an outright breakout of that bullish trend line, price climbs above that bullish trend line, then a retest of the bullish trend line, or probably come back to the $88.50 area, could give us a confirmation to join the rally to the upside. So this is what we are looking forward to. So I'm looking forward, if I'm going to buy the US oil, I want to see price climb right above that bullish trend line, after which a retest of structure will give me a confirmation to join the rally to the upside. So that is that on the US oil. So we're looking forward to that. Oh, where's our take profit target for the US oil if we are going to be buying? That is, if we are going to be taking advantage of that move at a retest of this level, well, somewhere around here should be somewhere we want to be looking at. That is a retest of this bullish trend line. Here that was broken during the early days of the week. So we want to see price come back into that area. So we had the breakdown of that structure. We might be seeing price climb back to do a retest of that structure. So we want to see how price is going to relate with this level. Is there going to be a reversal pattern here that will be sending price crashing to the downside, or are we going to be having a breakout of this level with a retest to give us confirmation to join the trend continuation to the upside? So these are the things we want to be looking at. So at the moment, if we have a breakout of this bullish trend line, price comes back to do a retest, we buy, we put our take profit target right around the $95 area and the $98 area, which will be dovetailing to about 6 to 700 pips minimum to catch on this potential opportunity. So that is that on the US oil. So I was able to break things down further to make things easier for us to take advantage of any opportunity that comes in during the New York session today. So we already have a key level at the $88.50 area. So let's use this key level to guide our action. If price continues down to the downside below that level, then we want to be looking for selling opportunities. And if price rallies right above that bullish trend line, we want to be looking for bullish opportunity on the US oil. So that is that on the US oil. If you have any questions whatsoever regarding what I've just discussed so far, feel free to drop your inquiry in the comment section, and I will be checking the comment section from time to time to see if I can be of help. So let's see what's happening in the chats in the comment section. Let's see. Okay. All right. Forex Win wants us to do gold. Let's see if we could add gold to our schedule for today. I'll pen that down right now and try to ensure that we include it in our schedule as we move on. Okay. So let's see. Hey, 359, good morning. All right. Hi, Streamroller. It's been a while. How are you? Good morning. I hope you are well. Well, I'm fine, thank you, and I trust you're doing well as well. Will you be looking at AUD today? I'm not sure, but I'll pen that down and see if I could put it in my schedule. So I'll pen that down. So I'll try as much as possible to run through the pairs we were monitoring since the beginning of the week. Okay. All right, so let's move on. So the next pair we are going to be looking at today is the US Tech. And on the US Tech, it's our take profit target zone yesterday. Remember, during the New York session yesterday, we hit our take profit target zone. And right now, price is back within the sell window we identified yesterday. So this is what we have here. I think we were around this point yesterday. Hold on a second. So we were around here yesterday where I told you we were able to identify this level at the 12,160 area. And I told you that if we are going to be having a bullish momentum here, we want to see a breakout of that structure. Price comes back to do a retest of that level. Then we look out for reversal patterns on lower time frame to join the rally to the upside. And remember, I told you that this is for counter trend traders and short-term traders as well, as we are on a very long-term bearish momentum. And the only thing we want to be looking forward to here is how to sell the US Tech, considering the momentum we've been witnessing since the beginning of, I think in the last 2 weeks, we've been enjoying about 1,400 to 2,000 pips on this one since 2 weeks now. So now we had the scenario where price did that, and then if you had actually joined as the retest, you would have stopped out. That is for those who are taking counter trend opportunity, as price broke down this area to move into our take profit target zone. And what happened afterward was a significant move to the upside, and price came back to the sell zone at exactly the sell zone we identified yesterday and see what happened within that area. Within the 12,300 area, we have seen multiple rejection of this level countless times. Let's see how many hours it took. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. In the last 14 hours, we've been seeing and witnessing a rejection of this 12,300 area, giving us a clue into the strength of the sellers at this point in the market. And how did we get the sell window we identified here? Well, that's simple. We drew our Fibonacci, we run our Fibonacci retracement tool through the previous impulse leg here, and we had our golden zone area right between the 50 and the 78.6% of the previous impulse leg. So that's what we have here, and that's why we were able to have this point. So we are right within the golden zone area right now, and headed into the New York session today. How do we intend taking advantage of this opportunity? Well, if you had sold right from this place, you are good to go. Selling right from this point is quite okay to sell here, but if you are not yet in this trade, let's see how we could take advantage of a trend continuation to the downside. So right now we have a consolidation phase right around here. We have a consolidation phase right around here, giving us a clue into the indecision in the market at that particular point in time. And what we want to be doing now is to identify the structure this consolidation phase has formed. Now, if we scale down to a much lower time frame, like the 15 minutes time frame, what do we have here? Let's see what's happening on the 15 minutes time frame. Let's zoom into the structure. Then we can see how we have something like a channel, I think, yeah. So what I want to do here is to bring up my line chart, and then we connect these lows together. So we have somewhere around the $12,250 level. So let's label this area for the sake of clarity. So we relabel this $12,250 level. So that is that. So we have somewhere there. Very good. So now that we have that, we all know what should be our expectation. So I told you that if you had sold right from this area, we can see we had multiple rejection of that level. We saw the first one, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh. So if you have taken trades right around that area, you're good. Now, if you are yet to take advantage of this selling opportunity here, then one thing I'll be suggesting you do is to wait for a signal. You want to wait for a breakout of the structure. Something like this. We see a breadown of the structure, retest of the structure, then we can join the decline to the downside. So if that happens, our take profit target still remains around the $12,000 area and the $11,950 area, which will be dovetailing to about 250 pips minimum to catch here, and a maximum of 310 pips on this one. So this is what we are looking out for on the US tech. What a very simple setup we have here on the US tech. So you should be keen and ready to take advantage of this move as it unfolds. So that is that on the US tech. So let's see what happens during the New York session, and I wish you best of luck on this one. So that is that. If you have questions, kindly drop in an inquiry in the comment section, and let's see how it could be of help. Okay. All right. What's happening here? 926. Okay. Okay. 50213. Good morning. All right. So let's move on. Let's move on to the next pair. And the next pair we are looking at is the USD JPY. USD JPY hit our take profit target yesterday. We were able to take our profit yesterday as price hits the take profit target zone during the later part of the New York session to give us, I think, about 120 pips max on this one. So we had this break. We had this profit taking yesterday. So going into the New York session today, what is our plan? What do we intend doing? Well, let me delete this. We no longer need that anymore as we take profits on that one, and then We don't need this too. Let's delete this. Let me delete this. So this is what we have here right now. And what I'll be saying here is this. Since we already have an impulse leg like this, we have this impulsive move to the upside. What I'll be waiting for is a form of a retracement back into a structure where I will be looking forward to reversal patterns to join a trend continuation to the upside from here. Excuse me. So the thing I'll be doing here is to bring out my line chart. I want to find a trend line here. We can see how this trend line, we had a structure here. We can see price respected the structure at this point. Then we saw multiple touch of this bullish trend line. So what I'll be doing here is, okay, let's see. So we already have a multiple rejection of this. So prices continue to the upside from this level. So what I want to see is a breakdown. I want to see a breakdown giving me a signal of a retracement phase. So I don't know how far this retracement phase is going to go. Is it going to go as far as the $139 Japanese yen, or is it going to respect this bullish trend line one more time? That is one thing I don't know right now. So we don't know what that is. So is price going to respect this 139? Let me extend this to the front a little bit so that you can see how that level also shares a confluence with that bullish trend line. So let's see how price is going to play out. Is the non-farm payroll going to give us a very sharp move to the downside? That is, price breaks down and move right to the 139 area, respect this bullish trend line. That is, respect this, hold on, respect this bullish trend line, and then we see reversal patterns that push price to the upside. So this is what I'm looking forward to on the USD JPY. So let's see what happens. For me on this one, since we're already taking our profits here, let's just be patient and watch price action relate with this structure. So what is required here right now during the New York session is to wait and be patient to see how, if we are going to be having a breakdown of that trend line. If we have a breakdown, let's wait for price to come back to do a retest of either this area or this level to join the rally. Now, if price does not go that far, what happens? Look, we have a structure here as well. If you look at this, we have a structure here too. So if price does not go that far, one thing I will just say, one clue I will give you, I'll be sharing here is that if wherever price goes to, wherever it goes, if it's here, here, or here, what we want to see is a reversal pattern to give us a clue that that retracement move has ended. So it could be your double bottom structure. Then we look out for a breakout retest of that structure to join the rally. So that's how we want to trade this one. So let's be patient to see how price is going to play out. Remember, we are within a consolidation phase here. So we want to see a breakout or breakdown of this consolidation phase to give us a clue into the direction of where price is going. So that's what I would say on the USD JPY. So let's be patient. We're already in profit on this one. We don't want to lose out on whatever profit we've made so far here. So let's be patient and see how price is going to play out. So that's that on the USD JPY. So let's move on. The next pair we're going to be looking at, we looked at the USD CHF2 yesterday, and USD CHF yesterday was in profit. We took our profit too yesterday on the USD CHF, was it? Yes, on the USD CHF we took our profit here yesterday. Remember, we were around this point yesterday where I told you we took let me share it again with you. In fact, the USD CHF has been on a very strong bullish momentum since the beginning of the week, and it took us some time to start lining up with the structure of the market. So it was only after this point that we saw a breakout of this structure here that we started planning to buy the USD CHF. So we took a buy here on Monday. I think Monday or Tuesday we took a buy here We took our profits here. This was our initial take profit target here. And then we took another opportunity here, which took us right into our take profit target, which gave us about 100 pips yesterday. We took about 100 pips on this one yesterday. And one thing I noticed after price tested the 0.98590 area, we saw our price continue to the downside, which to me looks more like a retracement move of that previous impulse leg. So we saw price come back into this area. So one thing I did, we remember we had a structure around the 0.9800 area. That is, we saw our price consistently respected the zone. We saw sellers took advantage of the situation from buyers here. We can see we had an attempt here by the sellers as well, and right now price is back into that zone. We can see our price is back into that zone here, and if we look closely into that zone, we can see that that zone also shares a confluence with this bullish trend line, further giving us confirmations of a bullish trend continuation from this point. So what I was looking forward to is a multiple rejection of this area, which I saw during the early hours of today. We saw multiple rejection of this level by the buyers before this breakdown happened, which I want to see as a false one, or probably an attempt to respect that bullish trend line one more time before that bullish situation happened. So right now I'm in this trade at this point, and I took advantage of this move right above the 0.98010 level, and let's see how price action plays out from here. So if you are not in this trade at this point, I think it's appropriate for you to be joining this pair anywhere right above the 0.98010 level appears to be most appropriate to be joining a rally from this point. So what I mean is above this purple line is most appropriate to be joining a bullish momentum here on the USD CHF. And where's our take profit target? Remember I shared with you yesterday how our take profit target in a long-term perspective is. We have a situation, we have a zone right between the 0.98700 area and the 0.9900 area. That is one zone we want to be looking for a take profit target, which will be giving us around 98 pips here. And then we have another scenario at the 1.00 level, between the 1.00 level and the 1.00500 area. So this is what I want to be doing here. As soon as price moves to somewhere above this previous structure here, what I want to be doing is to extend my TP. So if price moves right above this area, I want to extend my TP further, then move my stop loss accordingly to lock in some profits until I get to the zone around this point. So this is how I intend trading the USD CHF. So join me to take advantage of this bullish momentum here on the USD CHF. So what are the parameters we have to guide our action during the New York session today? The first one is the bullish trend line here. So we want to continue to see price right above this bullish trend line to be comfortable in a bullish position on the USD CHF. And the other parameter is this key level at the 0.98010 level. So we want to see price right above both of this level to be comfortable in a bullish momentum. Now, if along the way or anytime during the New York session price continues to rally to the upside, and at any point we see a retracement phase back into this bullish trend line and we see multiple rejection of this bullish trend line, please you can add one more position to your existing trade to join the trend continuation to the upside. So that is that on the USD CHF. Let's see how price plays out in the next couple of hours. And remember, we are almost an hour and a half into the NFP. So these are structures that is likely going to be leading to a very strong traction during the release of the NFP. So let's get ourselves prepared. Once price moves significantly well in our direction, let's endeavor to lock in some profits. Move your stop loss to either break even or lock in some profits so that you don't get caught up in any unnecessary pull-ups. So that is that on the USD CHF. Then we went on to talk about the Euro USD, where I've been expecting a bearish momentum to continue on the Euro USD. Remember, we are on a very strong bearish momentum here. And I've continued to believe that right below the $1 area appears to be an area we want to be looking forward to selling opportunities. So right during the course of yesterday's trading session, we were right above the $1 mark, and I told you we're right around here, and I told you it's appropriate that we should sell the euro against the USD right below the $1 mark, because the $1 mark has been our major key level since the beginning of the week. This is it right here. We have the level here, and what did we witness in the last 24 hours? We saw a final breakdown of that bullish trend line, this bullish trend line here. We saw the final breakdown of that bullish trend line right below the key level here. If you are taking advantage of that move yesterday, kudos to you for identifying that, for being on standby to identify that opportunity. And what did we see here right now? We can see how this move price climbed back up into the $1 level. So I want to be saying this as a retracement phase of the previous impulse leg. So because of that, I was able to identify another sell zone around this area where I want to be looking forward to reversal patterns within the structure here to add one more position to my existing trade on the Euro USD. So I'm still looking forward to a bearish momentum here. So I have two positions running yesterday, and right now I'm going to be adding one more position to my existing trade at this point to see how things goes. So in addition to that, so we have how many parameters do we have here to guide our action? So we have the $1 level. So we want to continue to see price right below the $1 level to be comfortable in a selling position on the Euro USD. So right above the $1 level is most appropriate. And then the other parameter we have is this bearish trend line. So we got this bearish trend line after connecting the series of lower highs here. So we saw the first touch, we saw the second touch, and right now price is right back within this area. Though this candle is yet to close, but we can see that we can see selling pressures happening considering the wick that we can see here. We can see selling pressures around that area. So it just gives us a clue into the strength of the sellers at this point in the market. So what I want to be looking forward to on my lower time frame is to look out for reversal patterns within this area to give me further confirmation to add one more position to my existing trade. So on the Euro USD, we are still very, very, very bearish. So let's get ourselves prepared to add one more position to our existing trade. And if you are not in this trade already, then it's an opportunity to join the decline at below the $1 area. Now that being said, where is our take profit target? Well, our take profit target still remains around the 0.98500 area. Remember, we identified this level since the beginning of the week, though price is yet to get to this point as things has been very, very slow. So we're still expecting that our take profit target will be hit this week, considering the current structure we have. It's looking very, very bearish. So let's see how things goes in the next couple of hours. So that's that on the Euro USD. If you have any questions regarding what I've just discussed so far, feel free to drop a word or two in the comment section in that regard. So moving on, we went on to talk about the GBP USD, where we also hit our take profit target yesterday. Was it yesterday? 2 days ago, we hit our take profit target on the Euro USD. So let me show you what I'm talking about here. So this is the daily time frame. Sorry, this is the 1 hour time frame, and we already have a very strong bearish trend line that has been guiding price action since the later part of the month of August. We can see after connecting the series of lower high. And one thing we'll notice during the early hours of today is we had a sudden breakout of that structure. And one thing we want to be doing here, we don't want to jump into conclusion that this is a bullish momentum. Considering the long-term bearish momentum, we need to really look at what is actually happening in the markets at this point. So right now, what do we do against the New York session today? Well, the second thing I was able to do is to identify the support level. We see how buyers has respected this level, though it was trending to the downside. They were losing momentum gradually. Buyers were losing momentum gradually. They took buying opportunity from here into this point. It came back here. Buyers took it up again. You can see the momentum continued to reduce. It's continued to reduce till the final breakdown of that level happens. We had a retest of that level. Price broke down, hit our TP target. Then price came back again into that trend line. So right now we are within that trend line. So this is a very, very sensitive point. Let me extend this out a little bit. So this is a very, very sensitive area we want to be looking at. This is a very, very sensitive area where the resistance and the support level of this channel meet. So it's a very huge confluence where we want to be looking out for selling opportunities. And the reason I'm looking for selling opportunities here is simply because of the long-term bearish momentum we have here on the GBP USD. Now, in addition to that, I want to identify a key level that will be guiding our action going forward. So we have a structure here. So around the 1.15750, yeah, 15750, let's label this 15750 area. Okay, so we have somewhere around there. So what this level is going to do is to make our job easier during the New York session. We can see how this level has been a major determinant of price action. We can see in the past where it was a buying zone. Before we saw the breakdown of that structure, it came back to be a retest, and right now we're seeing selling pressures from that point. So what I want to see here is multiple rejection of this level. If price does reject this place one more time on our lower time frame, then we want to be joining the decline to the downside from here. So that is one scenario. So the key level here is just making our job easier. We want to continue to see price oscillate right below the 1.15750 area to be comfortable in our selling position. So let me adjust this further up. So we want to have it right around this area. So we want to have our entry point right around this area so that we can enjoy that bearish momentum. And the other scenario we want to be looking at here is that if we have an outright breakout of the 1.15750 level, that is, we have an engulfing candle taking price out of this selling positions here, then that is a signal that we are going bullish. Then a retest of structure, it could be the retest of the 1.15750 area or this bearish trend line, then we could be looking forward to taking advantage of a trend continuation to the upside on this one. So that is how we want to trade the GBP USD, though we're expecting that bearish momentum. So if you are still not in this trade, I think it's high time you stay in this trade so that you can catch as much profit as possible. Like I said, right below the 1.15750 is most appropriate for us to stay bearish on the GBP USD. So that is that on the GBP USD. If you have any questions, feel free to drop a word or two in the comment section. Okay, so what's happening in the comment section? Jack 1992 says that hearing double voices. Are you sure? I will suggest you probably restart your app because my monitoring device here does not show that the voice is double here. So I will suggest you restart your app. Okay, so that is that on the GBP USD. I think we've gone through all the pairs we looked at for the week. So I want to quickly look at the AUD USD suggested by Steamroller, and then if possible we can look at the XAU USD. Okay, so Steamroller asks for AUD USD, so let's quickly look at AUD USD and see what is happening on the AUD USD. So let's move to AUD USD. Okay, on the AUD USD, what scenarios do we have here? Well, let's see what's happening on the daily time frame. So on the daily time frame, we are on a very strong bearish momentum. It is very, very obvious. I was able to identify a major bearish trend line here at this point, the dark tick line you can see here, and then we have a temporary bearish trend line with a dotted black line here. That's on the daily time frame. And in addition to that, we were able to identify a key level right around the 0.68500 area, And if we look left, we can see how this level has been a major determinant of price action since the month of May. In the month of May, we saw this level being a demand niche, and then in the month of June, it was also a demand niche, after which a breakdown of that happened. Then it became a selling niche, a breakout happened, and it later became a demand area. But one thing we observed during the course of this, the early days, I think the late part of August stroke the early days of the month of September, we saw a significant breakdown of the 0.68500 area, giving us a clue of a strong bearish momentum happening. So right now we have a signal in the form of a breakdown of the 0.68500 level, which is also supporting the bearish trend, the bearish situation we have identified here on the AUD USD. So right now, with this information we have here on the daily time frame, how do we intend taking advantage of the AUD USD? Now let's scale down to the 1 hour time frame, where we want to look at how price has been playing out since the beginning of the week. So if we scale down to the 1 hour time frame, what we noticed here is this. Price started the week at the 0.6900 level, somewhere around here, and we saw a situation where a consolidation phase happened. We saw our price juxtapose between the 0.6900 level and the key level at 0.68500 area, giving us a clue into the strength of the buyers at this point, which pushed price to the upside. But one thing happened during the later part of the week. During the midweek, we saw a final breakdown of that key level now, and we saw a retest. So if you had missed this move right now, we missed this move from this point to this, then how do you plan to join this trend continuation? So now there are two scenarios I can see here on the AUD USD. The first scenario is, are we going to see price climb up back into this bearish trend line, the temporary bearish trend line we identified on the daily time frame, or probably price comes back into the key level at the 0.68500 area, after which we look out for reversal patterns that will support a trend continuation to the downside. So one thing I want to be doing here, if I were you, is to wait for price action to come to either of this point to join a decline to the downside. So now if we look at the current structure we have here, that is what has been happening in the last 12 to 15 hours here, we can see we have a consolidation phase here, and this consolidation phase looks more like a reversal pattern to me. If you look at the impulsive move to the downside here, we saw the first touch of the 0.67700 level. Price came to the top here at 0.6800, which is also a psychological level, and price found a higher low, giving us a possible bullish momentum. And you can see how this has transposed into a double bottom structure, which is a very strong reversal pattern. So if you allow me, let's identify this area as our demand zone at this point, and then we give this a double bottom structure. So we have a double bottom structure here, which is a very strong reversal pattern. And when we have a double bottom structure like this, what do you think? What's the next thing we do? The next thing we do is to identify the neckline of that structure. So if we bring out our line chart here and then we connect this point together, so that's going to be our neckline. So we have a neckline sitting at around the 0.67950, right? Yeah, 0.67950. So we have a neckline there. Let's label it for the sake of clarity. And let me go back to our candle chart. Let's readjust. So we have a key level sitting at 0.67950. And if you look into the past, we can see how this level has been respected. You see, we see multiple rejection by sellers here, multiple rejection by the sellers. So we saw attempts by the sellers to push price to the downside, but it was met with stiff resistance by the buyers, which led to an outright breakout of the neckline. So when we see an outright breakout of the neckline like this, that is a bullish moment. That's a bullish signal. And remember, we don't want to get too excited at the sight of a signal. We want to wait for price action to give us a confirmation which is likely going to come in form of a retest of structure. Then we look out for patterns on lower time frame that supports a trend continuation to the upside. Mind you, this is a counter trend opportunity. If you are comfortable taking a counter trend opportunity, or you comfortable taking short-term trades like scalping, you could take advantage of that move if we have a retest of that structure. But for a long-term trader like me, I will be waiting for price to come to a bus stop where I want to take advantage of a potential opportunity in the direction of the prior leading price action. So what I'll be doing in this case is this. So if you want to take counter trend opportunity, you can join the rally from here. That's around 71 to 80 pips thereabout. So what I'll be doing on a long-term perspective is to wait for price action to come right into our key level here, or it could come into the bearish trend line we identified here, after which we are going to be looking forward to reversal patterns or structures that support a trend continuation to the downside. So this is how I will intend trading the AUD USD. So if you're a counter trend trader, you could join the you can join the counter trend opportunity here at a retest of that structure, or you wait if you're a long-term trader for price action to come right into our key level area around the 0.68500 and the 0.68800 area, that is somewhere around here. Then we wait out for how price is going to relate with this level to now decide if you want to be selling the AUD USD. So that is how I intend to do the AUD USD for this week. So if you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to drop a word or two. I hope Steamroller is still in the house to confirm that whatever I've said so far is well understood. So that is that on the AUD USD, and I think that is going to be the last pair I'm going to be treating, as we are already out of time. So before I call it a day, let's quickly do a recap of what we've discussed so far, and then we say goodbye. So the first pair we deliberated on today is the XAU USD, sorry, the US oil. And on the US oil, we took profits here yesterday. We took our profits here. We enjoyed over how many pips since the beginning of the week? We first of all took this 400 pips move. We took 400 pips here. Then right from the breakdown here, we joined this decline. So we took about 600 pips here, making about a total of 1,000 pips on the US oil for this week. So now going into the New York session today, what is our plan going to be like? So I was able to identify a key level at the $88.50, and I told you that for us to sell the US oil here, we want to wait for signals like a breakdown of the structure. We want to see price break down the structure, a retest of the structure to give us a confirmation to join the decline. And our take profit target remains right between the $85 level, which is the key level, and the bearish trend line here around the $84 area, dovetailing to about 250, 350, 400 pips here if you intend joining that decline. Now, for those who are thinking it's time to buy the US oil, well, the sharp rejection of the key level at $85 level is a sign that a bullish momentum is coming in, but we are not yet sure. So if I am going to be buying the US oil, what I'll be waiting for is price to climb above the bullish trend line we identified on the daily time frame, after which we look forward to a retest of either the bullish trend line or the key level at the $88.50 area to join the rally to the upside. And if we are joining the rally to the upside, where will our take profit target be? Well, remember we had this breakdown of this bullish trend line during the course of the week. We had a breakdown, so we expect price to come back and do a retest of the structure around this area. So let's see how price is going to relate with this level. Are we going to be having a reversal pattern from this point, pushing price to the downside, or are we going to be having a breakout of that structure? So for me on this one, if you are going to be buying, let's wait for price to break above that bullish trend line we identified on the daily time frame. So let me show you that bullish trend line one more time for those who missed out on so we had this bullish trend line on the daily time frame, which price has been respecting, and then we want to see price come right above this bullish trend line here to take advantage of that trend continuation to the upside. So the next pair we deliberated on is the US tech, And the US tech, we've been enjoying this selling opportunity since last couple of weeks now. We've been enjoying these moves, and we are about 1,400 pips, over 1,400 pips on this one, and I think close to 2,000. So right now, we took our profit here yesterday, and price has come back into the sell zone we identified yesterday around this area. And what happened here is we can see we saw something very peculiar. We saw multiple rejection of this area, giving us a clue into the strength of the sellers at this point in the market. And to make our job easier during the New York session today, what did I do? I was able to identify a key level around the $12,250 level, where which we shall be using as our key level going forward. So what we are going to be doing here is to wait for a signal to happen, which is going to come in form of a breakdown of this $12,250 level, where a retest of structure should give us further confirmation to join the decline to the downside. And if that finally happens, our TP target remains right between the $12,000 area and the $11,950 area for this week. So let's see how that happens. Then we moved on to talk about the USD JPY, where we were able to take our profit around this point. We took about 120 pips profit here yesterday, and afterwards we were caught up within a consolidation phase here on the 1 hour time frame. So what I said here on the USD JPY is that we remain very patient. We want to see how this consolidation phase is going to happen, and what we are going to be looking forward to is either a breakdown in the form of probably breaking down this trend line here, a retest to the downside, or we're going to be having a further breakout of the structure right above this level. So if we have a breakout retest of that level, then we want to be joining breakout retest, we want to be joining a rally to the upside. So now, like I said, if we have a breakdown of this level, remember we are on a very strong bullish momentum. That's if we have a breakdown of this trend line, we are in a very strong bullish momentum. I would not advise we should be selling. Instead, we should be waiting for when this retracement move is going to end. Is it going to end at this point at the structure, or is it going to go as far as the 139 Japanese yen level, which also shares a confluence with the bullish trend line we identified here? But the most important thing we want to be looking forward to is the culmination of this retracement phase, which is likely going to come in form of a reversal pattern that will be sending price to the upside. So what we want to be doing is to be looking forward to a reversal pattern at any of the structures. It could be here to the upside, it could be somewhere around here. Wherever it is, look out for your double bottom structure, look out for your inverse head and shoulder pattern to join the rally to the upside. However, if we have a breakout of the $140 450 area, like I said here, and a retest, then we could join the rally to the upside. So on the USD JPY, we still remain very bullish, so we are going to be looking forward to bullish opportunities on the USD JPY. Then on the USD CHF as well, we were able to take some profit yesterday. We took some profit here yesterday, we took some profit here on Tuesday, and right now price came back again to do a retest of the level at the 0.9800 level, which also shares a confluence with this bullish trend line. And what I've been saying here, I took advantage of the trade right above this level, and I also advise you to take advantage of that buy opportunity from that point. So right now we're in profit on the USD CHF. However, but if you are yet to be in this trade, then you might want to be waiting for probably a retest of this level one more time before you join the rally to the upside. So this is what we are looking forward to on the USD CHF, with the take profit target sitting at around the 0.98600 area and the 0.9900 area. Remember, we have a long-term perspective at 1.00 area for our take profit target. So what I'm suggesting here is that as soon as price gets right above this area here, you want to extend your TP into somewhere around the 0.99500. Move your stop loss to lock in some profit and continue to extend your TP as price continue to move in our direction. Then I also shared with you another situation here that if price continues and we have price come back to do a retest of this bullish trend line, that is, we see double bottom structure or a reversal pattern from this point, we want to add one more position to our existing trade. Then we went on to talk about the Euro USD, whereas I'm still expecting that bearish momentum to happen. We took advantage of this move yesterday. We saw this breakout of this bullish trend line right now, and price has come back to do a retest of this sell zone or this $1 level, which also shares a confluence with this bearish trend line we identified here. So like I said, right below the $1 level is most comfortable to be selling the euro against the USD. So take profit targets, maximum take profit target remain around the 0.98500 area. So you could be having your take profit target right between the 0.99 and the 0.985 area for the week. So that's that on the Euro USD. Then we went on to talk about the GBP USD also, where I'm expecting a bearish momentum as well. We took some profit here a couple of days ago, and right now we saw the breakdown of this bearish trend line, and then we saw price come back to do a retest of the structure. So what I did here to make our job easy is to identify this level at the 1.15750 area, and I said below this 1.15750 area is an area you want to be looking for selling opportunities. So what we want to see during the New York session is multiple rejection of this area, pushing price to the downside. And if we see price right above this level, we want to be staying out of this trade. So this is what we are looking at on the GBP USD. Then we went on to close the day with the AUD USD. And on the AUD USD, like I said, we are on a very strong bearish momentum on the AUD USD. But one interesting thing we identified here on the 1 hour time frame is a double bottom structure. As we can see, our price following this bearish move, we saw our price did the first rejection of that area. We saw a higher low, and then we saw a breakout of the 0.67950, which appears to be the neckline of this double bottom structure. Then I told you that a retest will likely send price to the upside. And if you are a counter trend trader or a scalper, that is a short-term trader, you might want to be taking advantage of a bullish opportunity right above this area. But for me, or if you are a long-term trader like me, I want to be waiting for price action to come back into the key level at the 0.68500 area, where I want to be looking for selling opportunities in the form of a multiple rejection of this level or this bearish trend line, or it could be a reversal pattern that will be sending price crashing to the downside. So this is how I intend taking advantage of the AUD USD. So if you are a counter trend trader, you could take advantage of that bullish opportunity if we have a multiple rejection of the left of the neckline here. But if you are a long-term trader, you might want to wait for price to come either into somewhere around here between the 68350 area and the 68500 area. Look out for reversal patterns on lower time frame, then you can join decline to the downside. So that is where we are going to be calling it a day. So we'll be dropping the curtain at this juncture. Thank you for being around. I really appreciate every one of you. So I wish you best of luck during the New York session today. So try as much as possible to be on standby to take advantage of that opportunity when it finally happens. So on this note, I wish you a wonderful weekend and hoping to see you Monday morning, same time, 10 a.m. UTC, 11 a.m. West African time on the same app, Extreme Speed Live. Thank you very much, and I'm so happy to wish you a wonderful weekend. Bye bye.